welcome back to another episode of my Desert Locked series. In today's episode we go from this boring piece of content to this. Wait, hold up. Let me rewind a little bit and give you a rundown of what has led up to this point. Before starting, I put a lot of effort into this video, so a like and a comment would be really appreciated. I actually bought a virtual course on editing, so let's hope it was actually worth it. Let's begin. The 30 of you that watched my previous episode may remember that we did the hunter grind in order to get a mithril pickaxe so that we could mine sandstone faster. The sandstone was needed in order to be converted into buckets of sand and then molten into molten glass with the seaweed received from the few hundred temporous kills we did in the past. If you didn't see the previous video, the reason we do this is to get this, the Ring of Wealth. The Ring of Wealth is highly important in the journey to get some of the best melee items we can get from the rare drop table. The Dragon Med Helm and the Dragon Spear. Without the ring, it just simply isn't feasible drop rates on those. Once all the molten glass were smelted, we had to do a quick house improvement session to get a glass blowing pipe. This was once again made possible by Temporos, who has blessed us with great resources. And there we go! One of the biggest items on the account has been achieved. Now, you may ask, what am I even preparing for? Well, the short answer is Raids 3. The long answer is indeed a bit longer. There are certain items that are a must for the longevity of the account. One of them was the Ring of Wealth, as mentioned before. The next item is the magic short bow. You may ask why, and the answer is quite simple. It is the best in slot ranged weapon in the desert when you exclude lucky implings. The MSB is great for both leveling as well as for future bosses, as you will see in just a little bit. However, the issue with the MSB is actually making one from scratch. In the desert, we have 3 different trees. Those are the normal trees, teak trees, and magic trees. If you've played the game for some time, you might realize what kind of issue this presents. Initially, chopping and cutting logs is no problem, but once you realize you need to do it until 47 fletching, it's a bit worse. Fortunately, you have a few choices there, whether you wanna make arrows or unstrung bows. But what happens at 47 fletching? Well, that's when you can start cutting teak logs and make teak stocks. And this is great, until you once again realize that you need to do it until a minimum of 75 fletching, when you can start cutting magic logs into arrow shafts. That's when you can choose, either continuing with teaks or going mega AFK at magics. What I ended up doing was getting 76 fletching at teaks and then moved magics as it was super AFK. That's when the most AFK grind of my life started. Rocking my mithril axe, we managed to get over 800k arrow shafts for future MSP grinds. Eventually, the last 2 levels were achieved by flighting arrows and then making lots and lots of iron arrows, which would be used for the next massive grind. But lo and behold, we did it. We managed to get the magic short bow. Then just to add bowstring from a baby imp, and there we go. We're ready for one of the most important content in all of the desert. Before heading out, I quickly had to get 50 range to even wear it. Fortunately, this takes no time at all. We then kitted ourselves with the fanciest gear I could find and headed to a place we would spend a good few months, the Sophanen dungeon. Ah yes, the Scabberites, the backbone of every desert locked man, or woman if there are any mythical beings out there. Fortunately, there is a way that makes them very AFKable, and here is how. This is the map of the dungeon. You don't need to know much, but ladder number 7 is your best friend if you wanna safely range the melee riders. Once you reach the ladder, don't go down for the next 10 minutes. This will make the mobs below as well lose their aggro towards you. A plugin to use with RuneLite is the NPC aggression timer, as it also shows the outline of where you can move safely. Once the time has passed, you can head down and start killing the level 106 Locust Rider while using the ladder as a protective barrier. There is a rider that spawns right next to it, just tag it and kill it over and over and over. Many of you are probably familiar with Dune Lord's grind, as he spent a lot of time here. But here is a short rundown of the most notable drops we're after. The big ones are of course the Dragon Spear and the Dragon Medhelm. The Spear isn't too uncommon, at 1 in 1.8k drop chance. The Dragon Medhelm, however, is a 1 in 16,000 drop chance. Those are, however, the two big drops. But the resource drops are also good. We get Noden Mithril Bars, Adamantite Ore, Coal, Food, Gems, Alkables, and so on. But what is also very crucial for the future is the Marentil Tar and the Rune Arrows. The Marentil Tar is needed for the only viable way that we can kill KQ, and Rune Arrows will be essential for raids. Anyway, here is a short time lapse for some of the drops, levels, and so on. Keep in mind that this may just be seconds in the video, but this literally took months. here is the loot from all that grind. The crazy thing is, in the 17,000 kills we did, we actually got everything we wanted, but there was one drop I didn't get. The adamantite javelin, which has a 1 in 8k drop chance. I never got that. Kinda funny how it turns out that way. Now that I had finally received both the spear and the dragon med, as well as reached halfway to 99 range, we're able to move on to the next stage. This is now the time around when they announced the new area expansion with the new quest Beneath Cursed Sands. I really had two goals before the release of it, one of which was to get base 80 melee stats, or at least close to it. The second one is to get the best in slot glove item, being the combat bracelet. After quickly knocking off the 55 fire making for the quest requirement, I went on to the next challenge, an insane Temporos grind. Why, you may ask yourself again. As I said before, we're so blessed with the rewards from Temporos, because once again we're going to fund our crafting grind mostly by making molten glass. And so the coolest grinds of my life started. It started out with me doing mass Temporos from about 88 fishing to 91. Initially this was fine, but I realized I could do dolo games or duo solo with a throwaway account that I had. So I did some experimenting and found a way to reliably get 11 to 12 permits per 10 to 12 minute games. And I love doing it. I don't have much footage from this, but here's a quick montage of me getting a serious amount of levels as well as loot, and not only from fishing but also from construction games. After about a month, we finally reached 99. Well, kind of. There is about 1k XP left to 99, as I don't want to reach the level yet, as I kind of want to get an untrimmed HP cape down the line. But at least we're done with Temporos for a good while. And once again, we got everything we wanted, including the pet, the harpoon, tomes of water, and pages for days. But more importantly, we got lots and lots of seagrass and food. The crafting grind has started again. Fortunately, it's a short one and only took a few days. We cut all the gems we'd gotten from scabberites and then moved on to the seagrass. This took us all the way to 74 crafting. Finally, after all this time, we had perhaps the biggest single item upgrade available. Just as I was crafting the combat bracelet, I realized that I can also craft the power ammy, which is our best in slot range amulet for the time being. The next week was spent killing bandits, and it was so AFK-able that I almost missed all the levels, including the level 79, strength, defense and attack. We didn't make 80 base melee, but I felt confident enough seeing that Beneath Cursed Sands quest is a 85 combat requirement, so this should easily be enough. It was time. All of the past month's work had led up to this. This is the quest that will unlock the endgame for all of us desert lot. The new quest has brought us so many possibilities, new monsters, new items and more. I will cut the quest short, because I assume most of you have done it by now. After navigating the puzzles, it was time for the first actually huge challenge of the account. The Champion of Scabaras. Remember the Scabarite range grind we did just earlier in this video? Well, it paid off, as this was easy as pie. We had our brand new items equipped, although, well, some of them were already months old at this point, but it still felt brand new to me. We just ripped through the guy, he stood no chance. Oh, how this was a confidence booster, not only in my skill but also in my gear. I believed I could take on anything. The sad thing is, I was minutes away from my demise. After defeating the champion, only one challenge stood left. The Mena fight Ak. Here is how it went. First of all, I nearly could have died because the fight started with me in desert robes and no food. Great start. That was sarcasm, by the way. Not sure how I even let myself do that. But it was about to get much worse. And I mean much worse. Really bad. We died. But what makes it even worse is that I forgot to put on my recorder on time and actually only managed to get a split second of my death. I have over the year of playing managed to record so much pointless stuff that I didn't even show here. And then the biggest moment of the account I forget to record. Good YouTubing, eh? Well, at least we got a few Fs in the chat of xRakine's stream, so I guess that's something.
The movie thing. Oh no! Beard died and lost his hardcore status. Lame. Can we get an F in the chat for Desert Beard, bro? Can we get a fucking F in the chat? Oh my god. Massive F, bro.
In hindsight, I probably should have waited a few more days before attempting the boss, as the tactics would have been clearer and the boss fight very easy. But I was so eager to go in and get it done, and in all fairness, this made the quest very enjoyable, not knowing all the details. But it's all good, we managed to kill him on the next try, so at least we got the new Keris Partisan and the Circlet of Water, as well as access to Rage 3 when those come out. This naturally means the end of my hardcore Ironman, but it doesn't mean the end of the account. I will keep on playing it, and will still record stuff, but not quite sure how the next episode will look like. This death has however unlocked KQ early, as I no longer had to fear death, as that ship has sailed, and if I'm being honest here, I would never have survived Rage 3 without ever dying, so it was really just a matter of time. Time to move onwards and keep slaying as a regular Ironman. The last thing I want to talk about is my editing in this video. I spent a lot of time editing and tried to make the video into a great story. In order to make the best art piece I have made to date, I actually took an online course, and I would love to hear some feedback on how you think I did overall. I am not the best, but I think I managed to step up my game a lot. But now that I might not be able to come up with as much footage as I did before, I have an idea for another series, and as far as I can tell, nobody else has done it yet. It will be a restricted Ironman, but with the possibility to grow into a fully fledged account one day, as I would love to play OSRS the intended-ish way one day. I don't want to spoil too much, but I will say this. It will be difficult, and the amount of items I will be able to use at the start are severely few, but more can be unlocked. I have already done most of the groundwork, and I just need to figure out a way to train some of the skills that may not otherwise be trainable. I personally think the concept should be very entertaining both to play and to watch. But let me know, based on the editing of this video, would you watch another series of mine in the future? With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and it would mean the world to me if you could give me some feedback and a like on this. The most ever likes I got on an OSRS Let's Play video is 21, so hopefully you can beat that. Whatever the case, thank you, and have a a lovely continuation of your day.